Hello, and welcome to Pure Heart Ministries YouTube channel, Evenings with Evangelists. This is episode number 3, talking about domestic violence. Today, the topic is going to be creating a safety plan for someone to get out of a domestic violence situation. A lot of times, you may hear somebody tell a person that's in a domestic violence situation, girl, you should just leave. Get your kids and leave. People don't realize that it's not that simple. Leaving a bad situation is very hard, and it has to be completely thought out and planned very well, because this is the possible time that a person's life could be taken when they're trying to get away from their abuser. So today, I want to leave you with some tips and some important things that you need to know and make sure while you're planning your safety plan to get out of your situation, that once you get out, you will have everything you need. Sometimes women get out and leave everything behind: clothing, important documents, records, all those type things. So I'm going to share with you today what things you need to have in place if you are looking to get out of your domestic violence situation safely. And in doing so, you will have everything you need once you make your escape. Okay? So the first thing is you have the right to have a safe and healthy life, not a life of abuse. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get a checking or savings account that your abuser does not know about. And you might just can put a small amount of money in there. A lot of accounts, you can put $25 in there to open it up. But you need to have something whereas you can access money or put money in. If you work, you can be able to put your paycheck into that account. Or, if you cash your check before you get home and he takes it, at least you can put some of the money in that account. So once you get out, you'll have money for you. And if you have children, for your child or children as well. Another thing you want to do is if you have a home, you want to get extra keys made to your home. Extra keys for your home and your car. A lot of times, abusers take women's car keys and their house keys, so they're trapped, so that they're stuck, so that they can't go anywhere on their own. You want to get an extra set of keys made and either leave it with a neighbor that you trust or leave it somewhere that you can get to it that he wouldn't think of. You got to leave it somewhere. Maybe you will leave it at your job. Maybe you will leave it with your neighbor that lives 2 houses away that knows and understands what you're going through. It's very important, because if the house is in your name, you want to make sure you have access to your own home. If you have to call the police or whatever and they take him out of there, then you can have the locks changed after he's gone. Another thing you want to do when you're making your safe exit plan is you want to gather all your important documents. And this is something that should be done just anyway, period. Not even only if you're in a domestic violence situation, but just because things happen, life happens, fires, tornadoes, hurricanes, those type of things happen and people lose, or if it's a fire, the documents get burnt up. You want to put them in a safe place. You may want to get a plastic tote box and put all the documents in there. And when I say documents, I'm speaking of birth certificates for yourself and or your children if you have them, Social Security cards, life insurance, health insurance cards, school records are very important for your children. If you have to relocate, you have to have your children's school records, and your immunization records, your children's shot records to show that they are current on their shots to be able to enroll in a new school. Okay, it's very important. Your birth certificate, Social Security card, your driver's license. And a lot of times with your driver's license, what you can do is if you have one already, you can order another one. You can just go online and order it and just get a duplicate one. So if he takes these things, you have access to another one. Okay? Another thing you want to do is you want to pack a bag of clothes. If it's just you, Pack maybe about 3 or 4 days worth of outfits. If you have children, you want to do the same for them. Now, this bag of clothes, you want to be able to leave with somebody or in a place where once you have left the home and are out of danger, you can go retrieve the bag so that you have clothes for the next couple of days until you can go shopping to buy you more, or until you're able to get back in the home to get all the rest of your belongings. That's very important. Sometimes people leave and all they have is the clothes that's on their back. You may have to wear that for a few days, or if you end up going to a shelter, you're going to have the same thing on and you're not going to have an opportunity to wash it. So you want to pack about 3 or 4 days worth of clothes for yourself and your child. So once you get out safely, you'll be able to change and bathe and those type of things. Okay? Another thing that you can do is get a P.O. box. A lot of times your abuser monitors the mailbox. I don't think they do it nowadays, but some people used to get their check in the mail. They would get to the mailbox before you do. Get a P.O. box and have your mail transferred there. That way you will have a key and he will not. And if you want to, you can give someone else a key that they can go for you if he happens to take your key. But that's something important that you can do so that if you have any important papers coming or things like that, that he will not get a hold of it. You want to make sure that your important things are safe and protected and that you're able to get them and still have access once you leave the house. A lot of times when the abuser sees that you're gone or you're left the house, they want to make sure you have nothing. No money, no clothes, no contact with anyone. That also goes to your cell phone. Make sure you have insurance on your cell phone, because if he takes your cell phone or breaks it, you're able to get another one right away. Or you can buy a prepaid phone and just have on standby something that you could use so you won't be without any means of communication with people. You want to still be able to reach your family and friends and let them know you're okay. But if he takes your cell phone, have that prepaid phone in your bag tucked away safely where you can use that to contact people once you have gotten out safely, to let them know you're okay, the children are okay, you're in a safe place, okay? The next thing you want to talk about is having important numbers. Your family, your friends, you may even want to keep a number for a shelter or two in your phone. And of course, the domestic violence 1-800 number, 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-7233. You always want to have that number, and even if you can get it in your memory to memorize it, you can call that number 24/7 for help, for questions. They will guide you to where you need to go. It's nationwide. You don't have to be just in one state. So if you call it, they will be able to help you or connect you with someone in your state that can guide you or answer any questions you have regarding a safety plan, getting away, shelters, a list of resources, and things like that. Okay? Another thing you want to do, if you have children that are of a certain age, you want to sit down and talk with them. If they understand and know what you're going through, you want to develop a code word for your children. And this code word is going to let them know that you're in danger. So perhaps if you say tree may be your code word. This is hypothetically, so I can give you an example. If you say tree, if you say, Tanya, did you see that green tree today? Tanya will know she needs to go to the neighbor, because that means mommy needs help. Okay? So you have to develop a code word. Talk to your kids and explain to them what this means. If you hear mommy say this word, that means you need to go get help right away. And that can be crucial. That can be very important on your life getting saved, as well as your children's lives. If you don't have children, maybe you could do something that will alert your neighbors to let them know. For example, you could cut a certain light on that they can see from their house, and that will let them know you're in danger. If you flash something a couple of times, that will let them know that you're in danger, and then they will call the police for help for you. Okay? I hope these things are going to help somebody, or that you can pass it on to somebody so they can know what things they need to do when creating a safe plan to get out of a domestic violence situation. Okay? The next thing you want to do is decide where you're going to go and who is going to help you. A lot of times women stay in domestic violence situations because we have nowhere to go. If we don't have any money saved, we don't have nowhere to go. We don't have money for a hotel. Our friends, you can't go to somebody's house with 3 or 4 kids and say, I need to stay here for 6 months. Let's be honest, it's just not going to happen. So you need to figure out, while you're making this safety plan, if you're putting money away, you may have enough money to stay in a hotel. If you don't have kids, then somebody may allow you to stay at their house for, a couple of weeks or whatever till you can get on your feet again. But you need to make sure that you have talked with this person, that everything is firmed up, confirmed, that if you and when you leave, you can stay there. There will be no problem. Of course, the abuser will not know this. You don't want to share that information with your abuser. You want to have a place that can be a safe place for you that he wouldn't even think to come look for you at. And if that has to be a shelter, it could be a shelter out of state or somewhere that's not near where you live. Or that he probably would think, okay, if you live in Virginia, it's only a few shelters in Virginia. So you may want to find a shelter in Maryland or D.C. because he figures if it's only 2 shelters here, you're going to have to be at one or the other. He's going to come and check. So that way you want to take yourself away from the situation that won't be so obvious to him to find you. Okay? If you have a protective order, you want to make sure you have copies of it. You also want to make sure that somebody you know, a good friend, somebody you trust, has a copy of it as well. Because that's very important when you call the police to get him taken out of the house. If you get to that point. And or just if you leave and you have children, sometimes the abuser will keep the children from the woman, even though she may have custody. He knows she's not going to try to fight him. So she'll end up leaving and leave the kids, although they shouldn't be with him. You need this piece of paper to show to the police when you call the police after you've gotten to your safe place and say, I have primary custody of my child or children. My ex-husband has taken them. I have just left him from an abusive relationship. I need you to go with me to get them. And the police will go with you while you get your children. Okay? They also will go with you while you get your belongings out of the house if he's there. They will go with you and stay there for an amount of time so that you can gather your things. They may not stay there so you can get everything out the house in a U-Haul truck, but they will stay there with you long enough so that you can gather enough things that you can be safe and have what you need once you leave. Or if you have some really good friends that will accompany you there, then do that. A lot of times people don't want to get involved or don't want to get other people involved because it can be very dangerous. It can be very dangerous. There have been times where somebody was in a domestic, a couple years ago, a cop got killed. His next door neighbor was in a domestic violence relationship and she knew him. She knew he was a cop. And this particular day, she went to his house. He came to her house and her husband ended up shooting him. You may have heard it on the news. It happened in Prince George's County. But anyway, you want to make sure that you have your things. So just a quick recap to go back over. Today we were talking about things you need to have when you're making a safety plan to escape your domestic violence situation. You can't just up and leave. You have to think it out so you can be safe, so you don't leave and then an hour later you're right back in the home. So to make sure you're safe, you want to make sure you have a checking account or savings account set up that he doesn't know about. You want to make sure you have extra keys to your car, to your house, to your mailbox. You also may want to get a P.O. box. You want to make sure you have your important documents, birth certificates, social security cards, leases, deeds to your home, health insurance card, life insurance papers, school records, shop records for your kids. These are very important things you need to make sure that you have in a safe place. Okay? So, and then also identify where you're going to go. Even if you're not going there, planning on leaving for 2 months, identify that place where you're going to go once you say, okay, today is the day I'm leaving. Make sure you have that place already planned out and know what exactly you're going to do and where you're going to go. If you have children, develop a code word for safety. When you say that code word, they will know that means we need to get somebody to call the police. Mommy's in danger. Okay? That's about it for today. I hope something I've said will help you. If it's not for you, please share it with someone so they can know what things they need to do. Because a lot of times women say, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out. He's crazy. He's dangerous. He's this and he's that. Something I have mentioned here is going to answer your question to let you know. He may be dangerous, but you have to take proper steps to get out safely. We want you alive. I don't want to hear another story on the news about a woman or children getting killed because she tried to leave him. Okay? So I thank you for tuning in today, and I pray that something I may have said have blessed you. And as always, remember, keep your heart pure.